Welcome to the Ask Brian podcast radio show, where you'll hear from some of the most successful founders and CEOs of businesses and startups, sharing their best advice for success and even some stories on how their mistakes actually make them even more successful. Now, here are your hosts, Brian and Tracy.
Welcome. You're listening to the KHTS radio show, 1220 AM, 98.1 FM, known as Ask Brian, ASKBRIEN, and also known as AskBrian.com on the web if you want to visit us. Now, for people that have never, ever watched the show, well, I don't know where you've been. It's been on for 5 years. We have a loyal following, but for those people who have not, let's tell people, Tracy, my co-host, my wonderful co-host, Tracy, can you explain to me why in the world you're spelling Brian with an E? You're not the pub, you're not from Ireland, and we're not going to O'Brien or Patty's down the street for a little drink. No blonde.
Yes, and I don't even spell my name with an E, Traci, no E. But
well, that's the correct spelling. An I-O-Y.
I would agree with you with that, but that's up for debate. Now, we like to emphasize the E and Ask Brian because the E has so many wonderful things that represent our show. But first and foremost, it's all about the engineer, whose name also happens to be Emily. So, woohoo, Emily!
Well, that was the requirement. We would only hire engineers that have an E as a first letter. That's why Patrick's no longer around.
Poor Patrick, he can't even catch a break when he's not on. And so that leads me to the next word that we like to talk about a lot, which is empathy. And you have no empathy, but I have a lot of empathy. So we balance each other out pretty well. But some of our other E's that we love are our experts. So all of our guests are experts. They put in well over their 10,000 hours to be an expert, and that way they can educate and enlighten us on the topics that we cover on the show about entrepreneurship. And there's also, I like to say energetic, and you like to say enthusiasm. I handed that one right to you. And we strive for excellence, and most of the time we achieve it.
I couldn't even hear that last one. What did you say?
I said we always strive for excellence, and most of the time we achieve it.
Most. That's probably a very high rating, but thank you for the high rating. But the biggest one that our fans have not listened to, and the biggest reasons why people tune in to the Ask Brian show each and every week, and each has an E in it, by the way, is educate. We are trying to educate people. We educate people in a couple of ways, one of which is sometimes we'll have an expert discuss a subject that can make you better in your business and help you out. That's one reason. And two, we have startups like today where we have a startup company where people can learn how to grow their business, to start a business from scratch, and to actually have a livelihood. And that's what we try to do each week. We try to educate. And now, without any further ado, how do you spell ado?
A-D-I-E-U.
And why do I like that word?
Because it only has all vowels, one consonant.
Absolutely correct. We have a very special guest, and if I pronounce it wrong, I apologize. But her name is Swathi. Is that correct?
That's perfect, Peter. You got it.
And you have a company. It's called what?
It is bettermeal.ai.
Better Meal. Before we get into the company, and we're going to be discussing that quite a bit, what is your background prior to starting this company?
My background is in data science. So I've worked as a data scientist for many startups as their founding data scientist. And I've even been a data science instructor and trained many technologists, managers, non-tech people to be data scientists worldwide. So yeah, later I started Better Me AI when I was suffering from a lot of health issues and I couldn't find a cure. And later I found out that food was the right cure for me. That's when I came up with my company.
So when I think of a scientist, I think of some guy in a lab coat. So when you say data scientist, what does that mean?
So in the world of data science, as the name suggests, it's everything about the data. So we are trying to find these consistent patterns or like inconsistent patterns or anything that the data is trying to tell you. In today's world, data is pretty much everything. It kind of very intricate information about a person, a thing, a place, or anything. Data is everything about that. So, like playing with the data, can fetch us a lot of information, and having that information can, turn a stone to a sculpture. So that is how I'm seeing data science today as.
And basically, do the algorithms affect your ability to collect data?
So our ability to collect data, a data scientist's ability to collect data, it's like a smart work. Basically, you can just start with minimal amount of data and then slowly build the database. Once you have good amount of data, that is when you start analyzing it. And once you're done with your initial analysis, there comes like a deeper analysis, and slowly you can start using any machine learning algorithms on that to learn from the data and want to make it do the work for you. So that is when machine learning comes into the play.
This new company that you have, did you start it yourself or did you have other founders?
I started it myself, all by myself. But slowly, I had people join me when they had similar passions. But I started it myself. I collected the data, wrote the algorithm all by myself until a certain stage.
And, I don't want to get into a personal matter, but how did you come up and create this idea on your own? You don't need to get into personal life, but basically, how did you actually decide to start this?
Sure, I'd love to share this story, although it's personal. So I used to suffer from a lot of health conditions, from really young age, like teenage. Can you believe that at the age of 17, I was pre-diabetic? And I just couldn't realize why is all these health issues happening to me, and I'm never being able to, get rid of them. Slowly, as I started to understand my body, I slowly got the solution where everything is revolving around the gut health. And once I correct the gut health, I would feel better, and I could even reverse my condition. So, my journey of eating right, fixing my gut started, and I could reverse all my conditions what I'm suffering from today. I am not pre-diabetic. I do not have any celiac issues, which I had before. And today morning, I ate bagels. And that was amazing because I couldn't eat it at least 3 or 4 years ago. So all this was because I could actually eat for my gut, and that in turn helped me reverse my condition. So when I see similar people suffering, I was like, why do they have to suffer? We have a solution, but it's just that people are not educated enough to take the right steps to correct their gut health. So that is when I started Better Me AI.
And, well, first of all, before we get into more details, what is the goal of your company?
Our mission is simple. It's precise nutritional recommendations based on gut health to treat chronic health issues without any dependency on external test kits. So we are a mobile application who provides precise nutrition solutions to address the root cause of the health issues, which is gut health.
Do you review people's DNA and blood samples and that type of stuff to figure out what the best solution is, or you just ask some questions and find out what their different conditions are? How do you come up with a plan?
Sure. So we are tracking gut health through biomarkers, and we calculate, the saturation of specific values from these biomarkers, and then we provide an integrity report on the individual gut. Having this as the baseline, we start recommending the nutrition that is suitable for the person. So we do not have any dependency on external test kits or blood tests which they have to take. We take what the users already have, and we are providing gut-based solutions based on certain biomarkers.
Now, to create the biomarkers, we had an earlier phone conference, and I couldn't believe the number. How many people have you actually collected CBC test results from?
It's 500,000.
That's a lot of people, and not only is it a lot of people, but I don't even know how you could collect 500,000. Can you give me a little background? For one, unless you have a lot of money behind you, just to collect 500,000, get 500,000 people to do anything is not an easy task. How were you able to do that with a low budget?
Well, the first thing I did was I was actually pitching my idea to a lot of hospitals back in India, and found out this particular hospital who had interests aligned with mine, and they were trying to find food-based cure. So that is when we could partner with this particular hospital, and we had these patients on board, and we had different kind of case studies as well, where we could see some people suffering with both diabetes and PCOS, that is polycystic ovarian syndrome, combination of health issues and specifically single health issue. So that is when we started our study, and we are here today.
And how long did it take you to assemble the 500,000? That to me would be 6 months or a year or more longer.
It's a 6 months for us.
And then how do you get the data entered into a database? I mean, that's not if you're doing 500,000 people, unless you're God or Superman, you can't really put 500,000 pieces of data into a database.
Well, that is where, my data scientist, knowledge really helped me a lot, because I started collecting the data really early on, and I could actually develop the infrastructure myself, which led me to here today.
And here's the $1 million question. Are you one of the 500,000 people?
Yes, I am.
Well, you understand that if I put you got a CBC for mine, I would screw the entire result. So you probably don't want my CBC result. But
oh, my God.
Anyway, that's a huge undertaking. So now you have all that data, right? And then you got to come up with a product. So, okay, you got all that data, 500,000 people. You want to create this thing where, how do you figure out what to put in, a plan?
So we already have a product, and like I said, we have the algorithm, or whichever I've built now. It is capable enough to learn from the person's history, their biomarkers, and their overall health, and start recommending you what kind of nutritional plan is better for you. So the algorithm is doing that. I was doing that manually to a lot of my data users initially, but now the algorithm is strong enough to recommend. And we already have more than 1,800 people in our second data phase who have been using the results from the algorithm, and almost 32% of them could reverse their condition.
Wow, that's a pretty good result. We're going to get a lot more into it when Tracy gets on, but I will ask the question anyway. How does the company make money?
Our revenue model is subscription-based with a 30-day free trial and particular, premium features available for specific health targets. So we charge $5.99 per month or $59.99 per year in a subscription model, compared to, a nutritionist or gut test kits. This is very convenient and appealing.
That sounds like a good low price. And this is available worldwide?
Yes, this will be available worldwide because we'll be launching soon. We'll be launching this spring, and we will have the word spread everywhere soon. Exactly.
So a big thing with a business that's just starting, and your business is still just starting, is you got to get the word out. Not everyone can be on the S. Bryan Radio Show, but how do you get the word out without spending millions and millions of dollars? I mean, it can be a great concept, right? But if nobody hears about it, nobody knows, it's kind of irrelevant. So how do you get the word out?
Well, I was a nutrition blogger before, so I've talked to a lot of people, and I could get all those people on my wait list. Second thing is, I think today social media is the main master, and we've been able to share a lot of content in there, regarding the gut health and regarding specific health issues. So that has organically created a wait list of more than 50,000 people already. So I think content is everything today, and people are really looking for solutions that is useful for them. And we could all do this organically without spending a penny, to be honest.
Now, is this just set for meal health and living a healthy lifestyle, or is it focused on dieting so you can lose weight? Because I guess there could be a combination there, but is your focus more on dieting or more on eating healthy?
So I'd like to, give a small pep talk on this. So, when you give up on yourself and let your medicines or even weighing scales decide for yourself, that's an absolute disaster. So we are coming here to give a solution. We are providing solutions for particular health issues like diabetes, PCOS, thyroid health issues, celiac diseases, and irritable bowel syndrome, along with weight loss. So everything goes hand in hand. So we are providing solutions for these. So it's both the combination of diet, including, the healthy lifestyle, both. It's a combination of both. But again, no one knows that both are interconnected, because when I eat right, that's when I feel right. If I'm not eating right, then where is the healthy lifestyle coming in place? So, yeah, we are providing solutions for both here.
And do you work with doctors, or are the doctors of the patients part of this program, or is it just a standard algorithm?
No, we have some doctors in our program as well. We also have some gut scientists and nutritionists also on board who have been advising us along the way. So we have around 23 nutritionists, 5 doctors, 2 gut scientists, within our program who's actually helping us.
Wow, that sounds great. And when is your launch date to the public?
Yeah, our launch date will be in the March 1st week. We will spread the word soon, the exact date.
And are you a member of your own group, and you're doing the same program that you're advising everybody else, correct?
Yes. I follow the guide from my algorithm, and I live by it every day.
Now, one of the things that I would say with any type of health program or diet is the word discipline, right?
Yeah.
How do you keep people on track? Because I think that's the biggest problem, I would think. Even the exercise is the same issue, right? People will say, okay, yeah, great, I'll ride the bike for 10 days, or yeah, I'll eat this way for 10 days. But how do you get them to go long term?
Good question. So I think people who have already, were on board in our program, when I asked the same question to them, their answer was, we were really desperate to find a solution to get out of this mess, whatever I've created for my health, right? So one is need. People really require something which can actually fix them from inside. Second thing, I think discipline is the part of life. If they don't show the drive to, fix themselves up, then, we can do only so much. So, but still, our app will do everything. It will actually be your virtual nutritionist by keeping you up on your feet to follow the diet and to follow the healthy lifestyle. We have a surviving gut and a thriving gut. Surviving gut is something which is pretty common today. We all have surviving gut. But thriving gut is something which is which we come up to once we have, fixed our gut completely. So if people really want a thriving gut, then they got to follow the program really well, really disciplined.
Tracy, you there?
I am here. I'm alive. I'm awake. No need to scream. So I was to ask. So your business model and the business product sounds amazing, but I would like to get a really clear idea of who is your ideal client. When you think about the person who's going to sign up for your services, who is that ideal client?
Sure. Our target demographic is individuals suffering from specific health conditions like thyroid, which includes hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, and then irritable bowel syndrome or irritable bowel disease, diabetes, type 1, type 2 diabetes, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and celiac diseases. So these are our target audience for now.
Based on that, do you feel like it's more of a male versus a female demographic? Are there cultural influences? Where do you think things lie in terms of data outside of just the symptoms?
Well, anyone suffering from these conditions can use the app. So we are a food-based treatment solution, and anyone suffering from these conditions, what I was talking about, can use the product.
Okay, great. So when you have, and it's really great, especially with your having this as a startup, that you have a very clear idea of who it is that you want to target to use the product. have you developed a marketing strategy of how with 500,000 people, that's a very aggressive goal. Have you identified a marketing strategy of how you're going to reach out to and target these individuals with these certain physical challenges?
Yes, so we are executing an aggressive marketing strategy. So for our pre-launch, we will do an announcement email to our entire wait list, highlighting of some success stories we've had so far in the beta phase to help users realize the possibilities. So we also have a dedicated website, and we've partnered with many podcasters and influencers for promoting the product. Also, like if users, if they want to wish to sign up on our website, they can do it right now. And doing it early now will give them 3 months free when we launch. So, versus later. So now is the time. Please do go and sign up to get your 3 months free.
So when someone goes and signs up, they get the first 3 months free. Are you comfortable sharing what the price is after that?
Yes.
And then also what that includes, too. That would be really helpful.
Yeah. So for the post-launch, our plan is to promote some videos on Facebook and Instagram that showcase different user case studies. So these videos, along with the content, affiliate, and online advertising, will help us, scale faster.
Right. I was just curious if you wanted to share the price point of after the first 3 months, they get that for free, but what is the price point that they'll be paying after that, and what do they get for that?
Oh, sure. So the price point after the first 3 months is going to be $5.99 per month, or it's going to be $29.99 per year. So that's like a discount in the yearly subscription.
And then what will they be able to receive for that monthly or annual payment?
So they will be able to receive their unique meal plan, also the gut integrity report. So if they're using it for free, that's not going to be available. But once they're paid, we will actually provide the gut integrity report, their biomarkers, their actual inflammation index, which organs are likely to be inflamed and how to reverse that, and the unique meal plans to reverse their condition.
Okay, great. And so you mentioned you're going to be doing video advertising. So is that a digital marketing that you're going to be doing for advertising? You mentioned the Facebook videos. Is that part of your marketing strategy to introduce the product?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And I'm just curious, there's such a big explosion with TikTok right now, and if you're doing videos, I was curious, have you thought about exploring TikTok at all?
Yeah, we are actually on TikTok, and we've been promoting a lot of user case studies in there, but we wanted to do one case study, and this is a unique case, and it's going to be a surprise element for people who are looking for our launch, how this person could actually reverse their condition, and it was like a complex condition. So we want to talk more about it in our videos, upcoming videos.
Okay. So let me just shift gears for a moment and talk about your team. What is your current team that you have involved with the business right now?
Sure. So we have a doctor on our team. She's a gynecologist, but she's been a gut health researcher for almost 10 plus years. So she has been the person who is validating our clinical studies and validating our algorithms. So, and we have a part-time CTO who is actually building the technology for us. And we have great advisors from Google, Airbnb, and different startups who are actually helping us validate the technology as well.
So is it, in terms of from the day-to-day operations, is it just you right now running everything?
It's mostly me and my doctor founder. And we have a team back in India who is actually building the product for us. So they kind of, they're doing all the heavy technology work, and we have a CTO who's actually managing them. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. So do you feel like, is that overwhelming for you to be having to be so involved in the day-to-day operations? What are some of the challenges that you're facing as you're building out this product on such a small amount of people helping you?
Great question. So initially it was a little overwhelming, but, in the process, I started to love the days, my days really. Every day, every meeting, I make sure that it's I'm so energetic. I think it's even because of the rightful eating and I'm following the diet, that also might be, that also might be something which is playing in here. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy that I'm learning a lot in the process. It is truly difficult, to be handling everything, but you get to learn so much. And I think it's truly a blessing that, I'm able to handle all these by myself. And you wouldn't know your strength until you're all in, all at once. So I think that's how I'm feeling right now. So I have no concerns, and I'm kind of loving my days as it comes.
Can you share with us maybe what happens in a typical day, that some of the things that you're adjusting, or what does a typical day in the life of your business look like?
Sure. So my typical day starts from 6 in the morning. So I have some calls at 7, in India. So I have to be early, really early in the morning. I need to do some morning rituals so that I'm, all energetic. And I think the first thing I start is the engineering call, later the marketing call, and then later some research time. And this time I don't have any meetings. And the remaining time from 2 p.m. to almost 6 p.m. I have investor meetings all the way to 6. So
wow, that's a full-packed day.
And I'm not exaggerating, but I do not feel any loss of energy. That's good, honestly. So, yeah.
So that's great. So what, you talked about how your day is and how much you're loving your days, which is always really good when you're functioning in a startup environment, because to your point, it does take a lot of energy. What are some of the challenges that you faced up until this point, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, so until last year, March, I was actually in a full-time job. So I was a data science trainer with Galvanize, and I used to train on an everyday basis, at least for the 6 hours. I'm actually lecturing, instructing an audience of 20 people, 20 students, or even 50 students. So whenever I'm doing that, my energy levels were so down. And in that, I used to, even work on my startup. So I think that was very challenging for me, doing 2 things at once. But later I realized this is my passion, and if I need to pursue this completely, I need to be all in. That's when I quit my job, and things got a little better with time. Of course, again, starting as a single founder was really tough because it's just all me, and I do not have anyone, not even advisors. I have some mentors, but they're not actually advisors, and not even a team. So to build that was really challenging, talking to a lot of people. There are different mindsets out there. And, I have to be calm all the time. And you wouldn't believe I'm actually an extroverted introvert. So you leave me locked in a room, I just sit by myself and do some research. And even I'm fine by talking to people. But I can do both very well. So it was a little tough initially to actually network, talk to a lot of people, understand their mindsets, work with different kind of mindsets, and even manage my mental health. It was all tough. But slowly it got better, and that's when I started enjoying my work on a day-to-day basis, putting all positive energy. Because if I'm really frustrated with my business, which I love a lot, then what's the point? So I think it's just about the mindset, and when I could kind of change my mindset, the way I look at things started getting a lot better.
Yeah, those are really amazing tips, and it's so important, like you said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, and it sounds like that, and really being hyper-aware around your self-care and your mental health. I think so many entrepreneurs get really burned out because they're having to do, like you said, you're a single founder, so you are having to manage all the details without a lot of support in that way. Did you find that you were having a difficult time, asking for help, or did you find that it was more that you were willing to ask for help, but you were finding a hard time asking or finding the right people to ask for help?
I think the latter part is true. Finding the right people to ask for help was so challenging. Everyone are giving their thoughts to you, which is all great, but not everything works for you, what they're saying, right? It's just the right things you follow works for you. So to actually understand those, get a pattern in that, and then adapt to it quickly was something as well. So another tip to the founders, like, or startup people, entrepreneurs, I think you should learn to adapt quicker and, follow what is right for you. So I think that will do a lot of magic, and that's exactly what I did. So I was able to adapt quicker to any changes what I was making. So it was not like I'm processing that for months together and then I'm taking the action. I was just taking the actions right away, thinking, doing the decisions right away. And I think many people have this decision fatigue today, I see. That is also because of gut health issues, I can tell you. Because I've been following the right gut diet for the longest time now. And I can see how it is making changes on my mind as well. Because I'm more clearer, and in the clear mind, I'm able to make decisions better.
Right. And I mean, I know a lot of women entrepreneurs face the challenge of having a good support network, not necessarily employee-type support, but also, I mean, I think a lot of times women entrepreneurs are faced with the challenge that they think they're going to get support from their family or their best friends or, but a lot of times it doesn't turn out that way, and they have to seek support from other like-minded women entrepreneurs. Have you felt like you've been supported in that way by your family and friends, or have you connected with more women entrepreneurs outside of that?
Okay. I'll be telling you a surprising thing. It might kind of shock you because other than my husband, none of my family members knew what I was up to. So everyone thought I was just slacking away time. I quit my job and they're not sure what I'm doing, but actually I'm building all this, in the back end. And I did not tell them until my second beta release. So I think I'd like to thank my partner, my husband, because he supported me through the journey. There have been frustrations because as a partner, it was right on his heart to be really frustrated because there have been hard times with the business. But I think it's truly him who pushed me, and I was really lucky enough that I got that support initially. So only I could, get through a little easily.
Tracy, you had one last question?
Well, on the break, our engineer let us know that there was a little bit of distortion, and you gave us so much great content. So I wanted us to do a quick recap. So some of the tips that you were sharing, you said that, you have faced your overwhelm and really used your mindset to shift, and you're focusing on mental health and really practicing self-care. And then we also talked about some of the challenges that you face as a solo founder. And one of the things I'd like if you would recap is that we were talking about your support system, and you had shared that you didn't even tell anybody that you were doing this except for your husband, but you've been to share with us that brief story one more time, because I think it was such a great insight that you shared around your support system.
Sure. Thank you so much. Yeah, I did not even share it with my family until my second beta release. And my partner knew about it from the beginning. Initially, he was not on board when I pitched the idea to him for the first time. He thought, can you pull it off? Can you make that? But slowly, when he got on board, he was really supportive. I think he was the person who actually pushed me on my lazy days sometimes that, I used to just cancel all my meetings, and I'm like, I need some break. I think on those days, he was the one who pushed me. He was a hard critic too. I think that kind of pushed me to be the best and to be really active and energized and to push through whatever, comes my way. So I owe him big time, honestly.
So that's so wonderful, especially to say that about your significant other. And so when you did finally make the big announcement to the rest of your family and your friends of what you were doing, what was their reaction?
They were so surprised, and a lot of sign-ups came up, from my friends who were actually looking for a cure. So for all these friends, I somehow managed to keep this under the wraps, and I was actually giving them manual recommendations, but they did not know the algorithm was giving them. They were pleasantly surprised to know that, okay, it was all happening in the background, and finally we have this, coming up soon. But they were very happy. Most of them were very happy, and they've been very supportive after that. And somebody actually shared this particular tweet with me from Elon Musk, saying that we should no longer have baby showers. We should start doing business showers. And somebody said, when is your business shower? We've been waiting for that, and we can, share our resources, whatever we have. I I think this is the kind of support slowly I started getting. So initially, I did see a lot of criticism on the idea as well, but that is where, I started to adapt and change, try to understand what people actually need today. Slowly, people came on board to help me.
Well, I think I too saw that article from Elon Musk where he said, "Stop giving baby showers and start giving business showers." I love that.
Yeah.
Peter?
Yes. So, a couple of questions. First of all, if people want to reach out to you, how can they contact you?
If people want to reach out to me, they can contact me on my email ID, that is info@bettermeal.ai. That is info@bettermeal.ai. Or they can leave a message to me on our website as they sign up.
And can people sign up? People can sign up right now for that 3-month trial. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. This is the time before we launch. So please do sign up to get your 3 months free with us, and sign up right now.
Do you have to go to the app, or can you go, or the website only?
The website. The website is perfect for the sign up.
So why don't you give the people the address for the website?
Sure. It is www.bettermeal.ai. It's bettermeal.ai.
Well, thank you very much. You've been a great guest. Unfortunately, our show is over. You're listening to KHS 1220, 98.1 FM with the Ask Brian radio show. I want to have you back on maybe in 6 months or a year, because I want to see how you're progressing and how you've grown up from where you are to where you'll be in that time. Wish you best of success.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ask Brian radio show. You can listen to us every Thursday on KTHS AM 1220 and FM 98.1, or via Facebook Live, or anytime wherever you listen to your podcasts. Visit AskBrian.com to join the conversation and ask us your business questions, and we'll answer them on our next episode. That's AskBrien.com.